Hi, Nacho Movie Recaps here. Today, I'll be breaking down a supernatural horror film called Talk to Me. Be warned, spoilers are ahead, so proceed with caution. The movie starts in the suburbs of Adelaide, where a group of high school students are throwing a wild house party. A teenager named Cole frantically searches through the party for his younger brother, Duckett. He soon discovers that Duckett is behaving erratically, having consumed some illegal substances. In a panic, Cole rushes upstairs and finds a room locked from the inside. He forces it open and is shocked to find his shirtless and injured brother, Duckett, sitting on the bed, mumbling incoherently. Cole quickly embraces him and attempts to take him home. As they head outside, they notice several kids filming the incident on their phones, which enrages Cole. He demands that they stop recording, but without warning, Duckett grabs a knife and suddenly stabs his older brother. The partygoers are horrified and scatter as Duckett. Hi, Nacho here, and welcome back again to my channel Nacho Movie Recaps. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It then stabs himself in the face. He would have stabbed himself in the peen, but things are upside down. In New Zealand, elsewhere in the same town, a high school student named Mia mourns the second anniversary of her mother's death. It is revealed that her mother passed away after accidentally overdosing on sleeping pills. Mia harbors resentment towards her father Max, believing he didn't do enough to save her mother. To avoid interacting with Max, she decides to head to her best friend Jade's house. She also picks up Jade's younger brother Riley on the way. Soon afterwards, they arrive at their destination, and Mia immediately rushes to meet Jade, but the latter is busy talking to her new boyfriend over the phone. It is then revealed that Mia views Jade and Riley, as well as their mother Sue, as her family. Later, the girls come across a video of one of their schoolmates acting possessed. At a party, Jade says that it's fake, but Mia is intrigued and wants to see for herself. She also wants to go to that party because she wants to distract herself from feeling down. Since it's her mother's death anniversary, Jade reluctantly agrees for her best friend's sake, and also because her boyfriend will be there. When Sue is asleep in her room, the girls along with Riley sneak out of their home. Soon afterwards, they arrive at the party and meet Jade's new boyfriend Daniel, who also happens to be Mia's ex-boyfriend. Despite the awkward history between the trio, all of them are good friends with each other. Later on, two schoolmates, Haley and Joss, show them a game called Talk to Me that everyone is playing. It contains a Ouija board kind of setup, but with a creepy embalmed hand. Haley says that the hand once belonged to a psychic medium and is now used to summon a supernatural entity. When deciding who will try it first, Mia volunteers. Joss then straps her tightly into the chair while Haley explains that they must stop the possession within 90 seconds, or else the spirits will refuse to leave. They then light the candle and instruct Mia to hold their hand and say, "Talk to me." Seconds later, Mia sees a ghost-like figure of an old man, which leaves her visibly shocked and scared. Her friends urge her to let go of the hand, which she does almost immediately. She then explains about what she saw, and everyone seems to believe her. After this, Mia goes back in once more and holds the hand. This time she sees the ghostly figure of a creepy woman. Haley instructs her to say, "I let you in" to the ghost, but as soon as Mia does this, her head snaps back and it looks like she's choking. This freaks Jade out and she demands that they stop the game immediately. After a minute, Mia's choking finally stops and she lowers her head, but now her pupils are dilated and dark as she has become possessed by the creepy spirit. Soon Mia begins to act maniacally, speaking in a strange and frightening voice. She gestures to Riley saying, "They really like you," which creeps him out. When the timer reaches 83 seconds, Joss attempts to pull Mia away from the hand, but the spirit refuses to let go and yells for Riley to run. Eventually, Haley and Joss manage to break Mia's creepy connection with the hand. They do it by blowing out the candle, even though the whole thing lasted way longer than 90 seconds. They make sure Mia's alright, and after this, the rest of them take turns getting possessed. This genuinely looks less dumb than some of the party drugs kids do in real life. Later, a curious Riley asks Mia how it felt to be possessed, to which she responds, "It was fantastic." She had such a blast with the whole demonic possession thing that even Daniel's itching to give it a shot. Jade, wanting to keep her boyfriend happy, asks Haley if they can do the whole spooky hand thing at her house tonight, to which the latter agrees. In the next scene, Jade, Mia, Daniel, Riley, and some of Riley's friends manage to convince Sue that they're not throwing a party and it's just a normal gathering. Once the gang's all there and the hand's ready to go, Daniel jumps right in to start the ritual. ritual. The spirit that gets into him is a wild one. It starts by saying it's not into Jade, and then makes out with her dog. They're Kiwis, but things are getting awful French. The other teens are both disgusted and delighted as they laugh and record Daniel. After they break his spiritual link, he feels embarrassed, but the others are just getting started. They take turns getting possessed, and even Daniel goes for another round. When Riley asks for a turn though, the others refuse as he is too young for it. Mia tries to persuade Jade to let her brother try it, but she still refuses. As a result, the siblings argue, and Jade briefly leaves the room, followed by Daniel. Taking advantage of their absence, Riley begs for a chance to etch. Mia agrees, but she makes it clear that it will only be for 50 seconds, rather than the normal 90. Once the others agree, Riley gets strapped into the chair and begins the ritual. He initially apologizes to Mia, but then abruptly transforms, as if possessed by her mother, speaking of her own death and expressing how much she misses Mia. Soon after, Haley reminds them that 50 seconds have passed, but a curious Mia pleads for more time with her supposed mother. As the timer reaches 0, the others attempt to sever the connection, but the situation takes a horrific turn. The entity begins to stutter before violently smashing Riley's head against the table. It then drags him towards a cabinet and repeatedly slams his head against that until he bleeds profusely. Upon hearing the screams, Jade and Daniel return to the room and are horrified to find Riley in this state. It then takes a combined effort from everyone to finally remove Riley's hand. In the aftermath of this incident, he is rushed to the hospital. The trauma weighs heavily on everyone as they undergo questioning by the police. Afterward, a guilt-ridden Mia decides to return home and isolate herself. A few days later, she attempts to visit Riley in the hospital, but Jade tells her to go away. This leaves Mia heartbroken and she prepares to depart, but just then, she catches a glimpse of her mother's reflection in a window, seemingly heading towards the restroom. Mia follows it and soon hears her mother's voice pleading for help, but finds no one there. This deepens her distress, and she begins acting erratically. Seeing Mia so upset, Daniel checks in on her and offers to drive her home. Upon arriving, she requests that he stay over, as she's feeling very low right now. Daniel's hesitant at first, considering his relationship with Jade. However, Mia reassures him that they're just friends, and she really doesn't want to be alone tonight. The only hand going in your pants tonight is that freaky one. This finally convinces Daniel, but it's evident that she still has feelings for him. Later that night, Mia jolts awake in a room when she has a nightmare of her mother's death. She then sees the spirit of an elderly woman approach Daniel to suck on his toes. Mia yells at him to wake up, terrified, but when he does, he's surprised to see Mia with white pupils sucking on his toe, not a spirit. He freaks out and immediately runs away from her house. Mia then screams like a maniac and slaps herself multiple times before revealing that she's taken the hand in her bag. She attempts to summon her mother by doing the ritual, and it surprisingly works. Her mom's spirit, named Rhea, appears and tells Mia that she didn't mean to kill herself and it was an accident. She also urges Mia to help free Riley because he's in a lot of pain right now. After this, the spirit lovingly cuddles her daughter to sleep. Meanwhile, Jade is at the hospital with her brother when he suddenly becomes possessed and bites himself in a disturbing outburst. He then collapses and slams his head against the restroom wall repeatedly. The situation only stops when Jade screams for help, and a nurse rushes in to intervene. The next day, Mia meets up with the group who were at the house party a few days ago. Jade shares that her brother keeps attempting to harm himself. This prompts Joss to reveal something very alarming. Apparently, the man who had given Duckett the cursed hand had told them about its major side effect. If the person possessed by the spirits dies while still being possessed, those spirits get to keep their physical bodies. This is exactly why the spirit inside Riley is trying to kill him, so that it can have his body. Following this, the group tracks down Duckett's brother Cole and arranges a meeting with him, but the latter doesn't seem to be in the mood to chat with them. He feels like Joss exploited his brother and left him alone when things got spooky. The group sympathizes with him and also reveals about Riley, and this finally convinces Cole to divulge whatever he knows. He explains that the longer the spirits remain within Riley, the weaker they become. So, he suggests that their best course of action might be to simply wait it out. However, Mia isn't convinced by Cole's wait-and-see approach. She believes that they failed to close Riley's spiritual link properly because they didn't blow out the candle after his ritual. Thus, she is determined to free him from the claws of the evil spirit by any means necessary. The entire group agrees with her, and they rush to the hospital together. Upon their arrival, they begin preparations to complete the ritual. Unfortunately, their initial attempts are unsuccessful, which forces Mia to come up with a new plan. She now wants to use the ritual to communicate with Riley's spirit spirit which she suspects is detached from his body, but during the ritual she encounters the spirit of a young girl whom she has never seen before. This girl offers to guide Mia to the place where Riley's spirit currently is. Mia, who is desperate to save her friend, agrees to follow her in what appears to be a realm of spirits. There she witnesses Riley surrounded and being tormented by numerous spirits. Just then, her 90 seconds are over and her friends yank her back into the real world. Mia then shares the harrowing details of her experience with her friends. They then finally conclude that nothing can be done right now, so they go their separate ways. Riley's being tortured by the demons in hell. We'll try again tomorrow. When Mia returns home, her father Max immediately approaches her and tries to reveal the truth about Ria's death. He explains that before passing away, her mother left them something that he has been scared to show her. He then reads Ria's harakiri note, confirming that her death was not an accident. A distraught Mia bawls her eyes out while her dad tries to calm her down. At this moment, the poor girl sees her mother's spirit right in front of her. It tells her that the note is fake and that she didn't mean to end her life. Enraged and scared, Mia then goes to her room, closely followed by her mother's spirit. There, it reveals that Max wrote the note as a lie, and the man she saw downstairs is not even her father. Just then, Max knocks on her door, but Ria's spirit points out that it's a malicious spirit imitating him. She also tells her that Riley is suffering and can only be saved through death, as they are never going to let him go. While this is going on, the evil spirit pretending to be Max eventually breaks in and tries to strangle Mia. The real Max, who is still downstairs in the living room, hears loud noises coming from his daughter's room. He rushes upstairs and enters the room just as Mia is grabbing a pair of scissors, but in an unfortunate turn of events, the spirit suddenly vanishes and she ends up stabbing her real father in the neck. By this point, Mia is so manipulated by the spirit of her mother that she doesn't even seem that shocked by what just happened. Shortly afterward, Mia calls Jade, claiming that she has a way to save Riley. The latter is desperate for help, so she leaves her brother and heads to her best friend's house. But unbeknownst to her, Mia's real intention is to be alone with Riley at the hospital. When she arrives, the poor boy is under the growing influence of the demonic spirits. Mia believes that there is no other way to relieve his suffering other than ending his life immediately. Thus, she prepares to stab him with the blood-stained scissors, but ends up backing down at the last second. Meanwhile, Jade arrives at Mia's house, only to find a bloodied Max in a critical state. Horrified, she quickly calls her mother and tells her to send an ambulance. She then rushes back to the hospital, fearing for Riley's safety. After a while, Jade spots Mia pushing her brother in a wheelchair and decides to follow them discreetly. Mia, who's being controlled by her mother's spirit, plans to shove Riley into the oncoming traffic, but just as she releases her hold on the wheelchair, Jade lunges from behind. She pushes Mia to the middle of the road, causing a vehicle to crash into her. Shortly afterward, Mia wakes in the middle of the road, bloodied and injured. She stands up and sees Jade holding her brother by the roadside. The scene then shifts as Mia is back in the hospital, but everything appears surreal and distorted to her. Riley, who is now miraculously recovered, leaves the hospital with his family. On the other hand, Mia sees Max walking through the corridors, but he doesn't acknowledge her. She feels increasingly isolated as no one seems to notice her, and even the surroundings gradually fade into darkness. Just then, a flickering light catches her attention. She approaches it and discovers a candle with a hand emerging from it. Curious, Mia reaches out to grab the hand, but as soon as she does so, she's suddenly transported to an unfamiliar place where a group of men are observing her. The man holding her hand whispers, "I let you in," revealing the shocking truth. Mia was killed in the road accident and has now become a spirit herself.
Thanks for watching Nacho's Movie Recaps. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts or requests in the comments below. See you next time.